You read it so many times, I'm reading it backwards now.
I think this is a good note for everybody out there.
He says that I don't pull well on TikTok, so
He doesn't. It's just a fact. It just doesn't pull well. It's called social media for a reason, and it's not selfish media.
I just gotta clear something up. You weren't the 12th man on the field.
There is no easy way to get anything ever.
This is Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast, where we discuss the connection between life and acting.
Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Matt on the Deering Acting Studio podcast. Happy to have you today. We're talking about, are you hungry enough? That is our topic. So there's one thing to be hungry, another thing to ask yourself, am I hungry enough? And we're gonna dive down there. So I'll start off with a daily devotional here. First off, we've got Peter. This is 1 Peter 2, 1-3. Therefore, putting aside all malice and all deceit and hypocrisy and envy and all slander, like newborn babies, long for the pure milk of the word, so that by it you may grow in respect to salvation if you have tasted the kindness of the Lord. So it's put away the negativity, put away all the things that are holding you back. And they say specifically here, the malice, deceit, hypocrisy, envy, slander. Put that stuff aside and be hungry for the word of God.
Yeah.
And you'll be taken care of. I like to call this with my kids. I like to simplify things down to, you focus on the good things are going to happen. You focus on the good things will happen. And that can be easily transferred out with focus on God things happen.
Yeah.
Now, the truth of the matter is, if we ask ourselves, if we think to ourselves, hey, I'm not where I want to be right now. There's someplace I thought I was going to be, and I'm not there. You start by asking yourself, have I been hungry enough? And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? Hungry enough. So well, here's the fact. Okay, so people do this. They think that they want to be this next level successful person. Everybody thinks they want this like crazy successful life. However, the truth of the matter is most people are actually not after that crazy amount of success. They're actually just trying to be content. You feel me on that, Joe?
Yeah, totally. That it sort of goes into that idea of you don't know what somebody's life is like by how it's portrayed. So we idolize certain things, but like, for instance, I'll just use Gary Vee. The people who watch his content are like, oh, he's got it made. His life's so fun. Like half the time he's in a chair or like at a comic book thing. But dude grinds, has been doing it for 10 years and never stopped.
Well, and to be in the chair, to do those things, even those things are only a few hours of his day.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that everyone sees because that's what's public.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they think they want that. And they think they want the comfort. And this is what I mean by content. I got this wrong early on in my career as a business owner. Not as an actor, but as a business owner. And I was thinking, okay, I'm running this business. It's an acting school. I'm very excited about it. We're seeing a bit of success. So I actually quantified success as being somebody who was able to hire other people and have them do the work for you. I thought successful people learned how to hire other people, have them do the work for you, and then went home and just kind of collected checks.
How'd that work out for you?
It didn't. It didn't. Everybody I hired ended up, leaving. Mm-hmm. The business ended up failing. And then I would have to come in and save it.
Yeah.
So then I asked myself this as I go, okay, what happened when I went in to go save it? The truth is, it felt good. That's what's weird, because you feel needed all of a sudden. So we get ourselves into this cycle of, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to secretly sabotage myself. Therefore, I get hungry, and then I know it feels good to be hungry and to go hunt and like to get this to like achieve. So then I do that thing until I'm feeling some sort of a sense of security, and then I fall back into the same pattern. That's what most people do, and it's because human beings have been designed to seek comfort. Our brains are wired to try to put ourselves at ease. It's part of the fight-flight response. We're trying to get ourselves to a place where we feel safe. And this is why I'm always preaching that you want to strive to become a person who seeks out the challenge, who seeks out the mountain, who you go looking for something that's gonna be exciting every day, something that you can work toward and that you can fail at.
Yeah.
And most people don't want to fail, so they avoid it at all costs, and they think they want to get success, and they do. You get the promotion, you get the whatever until a certain level, and you go, okay, cool. Now I can have this certain basic element things without worrying, and so therefore they lose their drive, and then before you know it, people become unhealthy, unmotivated, and unhappy. Mm-hmm. Because happiness lives in the progression.
Yeah. No, that's a really great point. I think specifically talking into the failure, that's not something that is taught to be a good thing most of our lives, depending on who's around you and who your teachers are. But
100%.
it should be, because we notice like the students who understand that have, like you said, so much more of a work ethic because they're fighting for that instead of fighting to be good.
Right.
Or fighting to have made the right choice, So I like that aspect of it it's painted as this negative thing as you grow up, and then depending on who's around you, you can choose to retell that story, reframe it for yourself.
Good stuff. So when we come back from commercial break here, we're gonna dive into the idea of a lion mindset. Rawr. Anybody who's been into any kind of motivation and any type of personal development will have heard the idea of the lion mindset. Rawr. And they'll growl like Joey.
Rawr.
So we're gonna talk about that, and I'm gonna force you to ask yourself, for real, are you hungry? Like, are you hungry for success or not? And if not, why not? And so we're gonna dive down some of those ideas and just think about just the human nature of being content, and then having to deal with the truth of that for yourself. And then we'll give you some steps on how to take that hunger and implant it and make sure that it's there and be able to hold yourself accountable for when it's not. So we'll be right back. up, please.
Your lives will all be changed and you'll grow if you really learn to listen in this way.
Will you help me kill her?
You have to react to that from his point of view as honestly as possible.
Punch him in the face.
No, you don't know nothing. Come on.
As soon as you've solved the puzzle, the scene's over.
All right, guys, so Deering Acting Studio has completely changed my life. I came here about 4 months ago, and right when I walked into this building, I got this incredible sense of energy that I've never felt somewhere before. You know, I came into this not really wanting to pursue acting, just more so doing it for personal development, but I didn't realize to the extent of which it would truly benefit my personal development. You know, predominantly talking about being present in life and just soaking in the moment and living in the moment. I've never worked towards that so much as I do inside the studio, and it's played a huge role in the progression of my career and just the progression of myself as well outside the studio. You know, Joey, Shay, Brian, and Matt are 4 people that I idolize and envy so much. I want to be just as they are because they are 4 of the nicest people in the world. Come to Deering Acting Studio.
Rawr. Rawr. So funny. Okay, so the lion idea is this. You may have heard this before, but if you haven't, I'll go ahead and throw it out there. So, lion's the king of the jungle. They're not the biggest, they're not the fastest, they're not the smartest, but they're the king. Why are they the king? Because of their mindset. So an elephant can squash a lion. An elephant is the biggest. Or one of the biggest. Lion sees an elephant and thinks lunch. Elephant sees a lion, an elephant thinks, I gotta run. That's the difference in mindset. That's why one is the king, is because of the mindset. So then we think about, okay, what is the special thing about lions is they're gonna run and they're gonna hunt. And so there's this one motivational speaker who likes to talk about the lion versus the gazelle. You heard this one, Joey?
Mm-mm.
You really haven't? Okay, so the idea is the gazelle, like most people are gazelles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so you run, and you run fast to not get eaten.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing most of the time, is we're running to not fail. We're running to just do enough so that we don't get hurt. So what are you essentially doing is you don't have to even outrun the lion. You just got to outrun the gazelle next to you.
Yeah.
Okay? So then like the weakest gazelle is going to die, and then we're like, okay, we're good. And then I wait till the next lion comes around. And then I'll run as fast as I can.
Yeah.
But until then, I'm not going to run. Okay? The lion hunts. The lion seeks the chance to hunt. Literally looks forward to the process of hunting. And the lion is on the prowl, right? Somebody said too that I like this concept of the wolf that's on top of the hill is never as hungry as the one clawing and scratching trying to make it to the top of the hill. And so you got to be so careful about thinking that you're at the top of the hill. So the question is, when it comes to the lion mentality, do you really have it? Do you really have it?
Rawr.
Or are you a lion one day and a gazelle the next day? Are you a lion for a moment, or do you want to put up the perception of a lion? Do I want people to think I'm a lion, but really I'm not, and I haven't come to terms with the fact that I'm not?
A sheep in lion's clothing.
That's right.
I see.
And I don't know why I keep trying to pretend like I'm a lion when I'm not, instead of trying to seek what is it in me that's holding me back from becoming my best self, from wanting it, badly.
From wanting to be a Lion King.
Good, Joey. I was thinking about this a bit this morning, obviously, as I'm preparing for the show, and I'm realizing that there's a time in when you're on and you're living in this mentality when it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what happens. Certain things have to happen because you're just driven, no matter what. So last night, for instance, working, grinding, been struggling through something with the computer, got a lot done, had a casting come in, finished the casting I went to bed about 1 o'clock in the morning. My alarm goes off at 4:30 every day. It's a choice to get up. I have every excuse not to. Why do I get up? Why do I want to get up? Why am I excited to get up? Because I'm hungry. I'm hungry to get this knowledge out. I'm hungry to write my book, and I got myself back into the place of writing. And I can't even talk about it confidently because coronavirus threw me. And my knee surgeries threw me. And I finally got to a place where I was like, dude, you lost your why. And to my credit, I was fighting for it. I've been fighting for it day in, day out, being honest with the fact that I don't think I had been living my best self. That's why I found it, because I wanted to. Because I'm not in denial of like, oh, you're so great. Like, no, you know what you're capable of, and you're not living what you're capable of, Matt. Why? And I kept asking and asking and asking, and finally got to the place where I'm like, dude, you know what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be writing this book. You're supposed to be putting this knowledge out to the world. So then I changed my goals. It starts back from the core. And I'm like, what's the most important? What do I have to do? So then one thing leads to the other. Like, one habit connects to the next habit. So now I'm saying, okay, I need to write every day. Cool. Well, then this morning, I get up, and let's be honest, all these excuses I'm talking about, they are extra obstacles. It's not easy to get up in the morning when you went to bed at 1 to wake up at 4:30 for anybody, ever.
Nope.
It's not easy. I did it because I'm hungry. Now try getting up and having your leg feel like it's on fire. You got to grab your crutches. You got to, and now what's interesting is because my confidence is up, because my lion is starting to come out, it now bothers me that my clothes are on the floor from last night. It now bothers me. It didn't bother me. Now it does, because that's not lion behavior. So now with my crutches, I got to get down. I got to grab the clothes. I got to, put them over my I got to do whatever it takes to put that away before I leave, because lions don't leave their place like that. That's how I feel. So then I get in, I do my whole morning ritual, and then you have to understand, again, with crutches, I got to grab my backpack. I got to get a water if I want one. I got to do all these different things. Everything takes me 5 times longer than it normally would.
Yeah.
Now, here's what's interesting. Because of one habit leading to the next, I specifically remember the lion inside me telling me when I was tempted to watch some video this morning that was like a political news something or other, I remember telling myself, no. The first thing you do, other than reading the Bible, listening to positive motivation, working out, is write your book. The very first thing. No, you cannot do anything else except that. Then I get in to the studio. I had left the computer on purpose because I had emails moving during the night. Because that happened during the night, I was interested. I wanted to know, did it work?
And did it?
I don't know. Because I walked in, I saw the email, and I was so tempted. and I X'd out.
Oh.
And then I X'd out of the browser I was in, which had a bunch of different open tabs that were asking questions about different things that I was curious about to fix the issue I was working on. I just X'd out completely. And I opened up the book and I wrote the book.
Nice.
I put the time into that. Then that motivated me to work on this show, get that going. And then I connected in with you and Brian and got you guys going.
And by connected in, he means woke us up because we slept.
That's right. And I've mentioned this to you before, Joey. This interesting quote.
Ooh, hit the drum roll.
This is Jeremy McGilvery.
Sounds like a nice guy.
Well, he says, if you're not as hungry as I am, we can't eat together.
Maybe not so much of a nice guy. No, not really though.
Or is
He's
he?
protecting himself.
He's protecting himself and he's protecting the people around him. Because here's the thing.
It's your affirmation right there.
When you allow other people to be the driving force for you, that's another reason. It's another way that we think we're maybe protecting each other or protecting ourselves or whatever. But then you're living your own lie.
Mm-hmm.
You're living the thing where like, I feel like I'm doing the thing, but really I'm not doing the thing. Why am I not doing the thing?
Yeah.
And until you start asking that, until you start getting excited about wanting to know the answer, you'll never get there. But it's got to be, each person has to have their own self-motivating force.
Yeah. And like you said, you have to find it yourself. You have to care about it for anything to change.
Yeah.
Right? So for instance, this morning, I was like bummed out, and then I heard you talking to Brian about like no guilt, none of that, because that doesn't do anything. And I was already in that space, but it just reminded me of that thing, because obviously that's not how I want to start my day. But allowing it to affect me negatively for the rest of my day doesn't help me either. It just puts you further back.
That's right.
So it's about acknowledging the mistakes, finding the why, like you said, figuring it out. Okay, this is what's causing it. I need a better why for this thing, or I need a better routine for this. And then moving forward, but not beating yourself up.
Yeah.
Not taking a negative attitude towards the people around you, blaming them for what you did.
Right. And speaking of the people around us, we have triggers.
Yeah.
And so you also want to find, where is it that I'm being triggered? What is the thing that happened? What did it, at the end of the day, something's occurring, and it's causing this emotional reaction in me that's causing this new cycle to repeat itself.
Yeah.
And I want to get myself out of that cycle. I want to get back to living. Yeah, that's your illustration from yesterday. You want to break out of that. So what does it mean to be hungry, really? I want to go back to this Bible verse. It says, like newborn babies long for pure milk. It's unbelievable what happens when a baby's born. Their desperation for milk is incredible. They can't do anything for themselves, babies. Nothing. But they yearn for just survival. That's all it is. So when a baby becomes even a week old, it can somehow maneuver and make its way, like it's trying to get to the milk. It's everything it can do to get to the milk, because the milk is its survival.
Yeah.
And what happens is it eats, and until it's full, and then the baby just then wants more milk. Like that, as soon as I'm hungry, everything in the baby's body, everything is working toward getting more milk. That's all it knows. It's its instinct.
Yeah.
This pure milk. And it is pure. That's the thing too. If a mother chooses to breastfeed, which I know is a choice, and it's fine. But if that happens, that pure milk is also just, it's like the best nutrient the baby could possibly get for its future.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things that's sort of, it's divine. It's indescribable that a mother's body is able to do that.
It's crazy.
You know,
yeah.
Crazy.
And,
crazy.
and inside the milk, there is medicine, natural medicine to protect the baby. Mm-hmm. In the very beginning, the very first couple days of milk, they call it colostrum, and it's a different type of milk. And it's just full of like all the best of the best of the best stuff for a human being to possibly have inside of their bodies. And the mother just creates this organically, and the baby craves it.
Yeah.
Okay? No other instinct but to be hungry. Now, you think to yourself, okay, when you're desperate, when your back's against the wall, when you really, really want something and you focus on something, what happens? You get it. You freaking get it. That's what happens. Everybody. Yeah. I don't care what it is. You find a way to get it.
Yep.
My son wanted this Lego set. This is crazy. He wanted a Lego set. And it's like $300. He wanted it. He focused on it. He wanted it. He focused on it. He talked about it. He wasn't a jerk about it. We told him you can have anything you want. You got to work for it.
Yeah.
He focused on it. He saved money. He asked if he could do chores. He talked about it. When Christmas came around, we mentioned to his grandma, well, he wants this thing. It's $300. So if you want to put money toward it, I'm sure he'd love that. Got some money toward it. Next thing you know, the kid's got like $400. He's got more money than he needs to buy the thing that he wants. Mm-hmm. And what's crazy is he wanted it. He wanted it. He wanted it. He wanted it. And he found a way to get it.
Yeah.
Because of the way we handled it, when he got there, he had to look at all the work he did. And then decide, do I really want it?
Yeah.
Or do I? And he didn't end up buying it.
Oh.
He ended up getting 2 different Lego sets.
Smart.
And still having like 65% of the money that he had saved up. And now his mind is already on the next thing. So he has already at a young age learned the fun is in the seeking.
Yeah.
Is in the progression to get toward rather than the thing itself. Mm-hmm. And most of us just want the thing. We just want to get to the result. We just want the private jet.
Yeah.
But it's like the people who have the private jet, like they didn't get there by just like that's all they wanted. It's the falling in love with the process of it.
Yeah.
And what does it mean and what's the why behind it?
100p. I love that. That's a great example. I mean, I think a better example for Jack would be getting on the roof. But that's a pretty good one right there with the Legos.
With his determination. That'd be the
exactly.
determination.
He wanted
episode.
to get on the roof so bad. Dude literally taught himself to climb up a pole and get onto your roof. Like, when he showed me, I was like, that is like straight up Spider-Man. Like, I don't know how your hands are sticking to this wood pole. He's a genius. He's a boy genius.
Yeah.
He gave birth to a boy genius.
You're right, and I can't take credit for him. He's spectacular.
Yeah.
So I want to leave everybody with a takeaway here, and I'm going to quote Eric Thomas, who I love this quote. He says, as soon as you want success as bad as you want to breathe, you'll get it. And that's not the exact quote, but he says when you want to be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. As bad as you want to breathe, that's the baby that needs the milk. That's that hunger. Mm-hmm. And to think, every breath you take, every single breath, we take it for granted until you're short of breath.
Yeah.
And then when you're short of breath, you realize that's actually number one. Even before food and water is, if I can't breathe, I'm done.
Yeah.
So he says that when you want to be successful, as bad as you want to breathe, you will be successful. And then you got to ask yourself, do you really want that? And to what extent? And then it goes further, which is like, have you defined success? Do you even know what that is for you?
Because it's different for everybody.
And my guess is probably you haven't.
Yeah.
Or you think you have, but you really haven't. And if you haven't really defined it, how could you actually really want it that bad if you don't even know what it is you're going after? Mm-hmm. And it's not really compelling enough because it's wrapped around a result or it's wrapped around a comparison or whatever. I had an actor come up to me in between one of the masterclass scenes and said, I'm doing this because I want to be in a Marvel movie.
That's awesome.
I thought it was terrible. Sorry.
No, it's good.
I thought it was terrible. But he said, I want to be in a Marvel movie because I want to be one of the first Hispanic superheroes.
Haha.
And I go, okay, we're getting someplace. But I'm like, you got to let go of Marvel. But he's like, Marvel's the best. Why would I want to be the best? And I go, okay, yeah, they're the best. Marvel's the best until what? Until we find out that the head of Marvel does some really bad stuff to kids, and then they get in the limelight of the news, and the entire business goes down. And now you wrapped your whole life's goal around some company that's irrelevant. But the idea of being a superhero of sorts for your culture, and knowing that as a kid you didn't have that to look up to, and you want to be that, you want to find a way to achieve the skill set to be a superhero within your culture in order to inspire kids, I go, that's a good goal. That is in fact a great goal.
Interesting.
And how you get there, there's many different angles, and Marvel might be one of them. Mm-hmm. Producing the movie yourself might be another way. There may be some new franchise we've never heard of by the time you get there, and therefore you're not unsuccessful because you didn't become a Marvel superhero, and you're not successful because you become one. Because think about this: how much have you failed, and failed hard, if you actually became the first Hispanic Marvel superhero and you're terrible? And the movie's no good. And and everyone goes, well, no wonder there's not a Hispanic Marvel superhero. They stink. They're not good. You've damaged the whole idea behind why you wanted to do it. But if you haven't defined your real why and you attach it to the wrong thing, A, you'll be unfulfilled, but B, it won't drive you. That will not make you hungry. That's not going to be like, I need it so badly, like I want to breathe.
Yeah.
But to think about yourself as a child, and to think about all the kids that are like you, that saw you or didn't see people like them on the TV, and I want to be like that person. I want to give them something and know that it's possible. That's good, and that will drive you.
So I agree with you on the company thing after you described it, but I'm interested because I feel like I said, oh, that's cool, because they're in my opinion, and just from watching them, they're sort of the standard, like you said, right now for superhero movies, but the way they produce them, they're the top right now. So most people look at them and they go, yeah, they're the best at producing those kind of movies. So instead of saying maybe for that specific company, that quality of movie.
It's more about, like, his why had nothing to do with Marvel. His real core why, and the why that would actually drive him.
Got you. No, that makes sense.
So even that quality movie, like, what does that even mean? It's very subjective. And you might think they're the best. Somebody else thinks somebody else is the best. And 10 years from now, are they still the best?
Probably not. Yeah.
And could somebody have done better? Could Marvel have even done better? Is Marvel selfish? Do they only do it good enough so that they make a huge profit? Like, there's so many things you don't know.
Yeah.
That you're assuming based on what other people have said, and now you're wrapping your whole like life's goal around trying to be someone who could be a part of some franchise that they have zero control over.
Yeah. No, I like that. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's like when I when I give the example of an actor with a goal that says they want to be in a movie with Brad Pitt. That goal could work because it's like, oh, what would I have to do to get into a movie with Brad Pitt? And you start to think, and you're like, oh, wow, it'd have to be really good, or blah blah blah. But the idea though, when you make that your goal, I want to be in a movie with Brad Pitt. It doesn't drive you, and you can very well accidentally reach your goal and be fully unfulfilled.
Yeah.
You
You
get
could be
it.
an extra.
You could be an extra.
You could be a boom operator.
You could be an extra. In a war movie.
Yeah.
Where you're one of 1,000 people and you're technically on set in the scene with Brad Pitt in the movie Troy, and you're like 17 football fields away. And you just reached your goal. Good job. Hi, Brad. Brad,
Brad,
right.
this is my goal.
I did it. Mom, I did it.
Good stuff this morning. I
Yeah.
like the topic.
So here's your takeaway. You want to ask yourself, are you hungry enough? If not, why not? Have you really, really figured out your why? If not, why not? I think the big takeaway today is to ask yourself the hard questions. And as we were talking about this morning with Joey, you need to ask yourself these questions from love.
Yes.
You got to love yourself. You cannot beat yourself up. And that we do oh so much. So I am not sitting here trying to say how good I am and how bad you are, and I don't want you to feel guilty. I don't want anybody to feel guilty about what they have or have not done. What I want you to do is start to become really honest and ask yourself these questions out of sincere curiosity. And when you want to find the answer, you'll find it, and then you'll discover these little gems. Like I remember, you've had so many big levels up, Joey. Like a lot of them.
Yeah.
And some of them were struggles. Some of them, you got forced into, and you're just like trying to discover things. And you're so young, of course, but you're just trying to figure it out, right? But I remember there was a time, and I actually saw this in my photos because I was going back and looking at photos with my daughter, and we like to just look at memories, and
So cute.
and it is why we were looking at them, because she actually said to me, I don't remember a time when your knee was healthy.
Oh.
That's sad. She didn't remember.
Yeah.
So I went back to show her, hey, I used to run with you. I used to jump on the trampoline with you. Like I had to show her so that she could remember.
Dang.
Dang is right. So when I went down that process, though, I found some photos and some videos and just different moments where I remembered that we used to go on morning walks.
Yeah.
This has become that, but we used to go on morning walks and used to talk about the point of the walk was actually to check in and be honest about our junk.
Yeah.
And I remember when you were on your A game, and it seemed to always be like either you were or Brian was, and back and forth, and you guys could never get on the same page together.
It's been like that our whole lives. So
Okay.
we really need to fix it.
So maybe maybe for both of you, that's your hang up, and you got to ask why. You got to get curious and want to know. But anyway, I remember when you were on your A game specifically, you would be journaling in the morning. That was one of these habits that you had that nobody else had, and you did. Because I'm leave everybody with this. Here's how you know that you're hungry versus you're striving to be content. And it's the difference between this. Perhaps, Joey, you might do your job in the morning, which there's a lot of setup for the show.
Yeah.
And let's say you do your job the night before.
Mm-hmm.
And you think, great, I just earned myself an extra half hour sleep, an extra hour sleep, because
Yeah.
I'm all set. Boom,
Yep.
I did it. I'm ahead. Boom. My mindset is similar, where I'll say, hey, on Sundays, I'd like to strive to get all the shows done for the week. So I don't need to do them in the morning. So I don't have to prepare them in the morning. But it's not to get more sleep. It's so that when I wake up, I can grind on something else. That's the difference. So why are you doing the thing that you're doing? You got to ask yourself that question. And are you doing it sincerely because you want to go next level, because you believe in the success, or are you doing it to get yourself to a place of becoming more content? That's our show, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share this channel, help us spread this light-driven content to the planet. God bless.
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.
Have a chippy day, everyone. Rough.